That's the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Let's get some insight into some of these issues. Don't forget, there will be Osun and Ekiti governorship election. INEC chairman has raised some issues here. For those of you who have not collected your permanent voter cards and they are wondering what exactly is happening, you need to do so. If you are in Osun and Ekiti state, you need to confirm whether or not you can vote. Above all of that is the issue of the 2023 election. You need also to confirm whether you are on the voting register in Nigeria, because as a citizen and 18 years of age, your franchise is supposed to be functional, is it? Let's talk about some of these issues, shall we, everyone? I'm being joined by a National Commissioner in charge of voter education and publicity with the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mr. Festus Okoye. Thank you so much, Mr. Okoye, for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I know it was a difficult one getting you into the studio because of the length period, but thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Give us a sense of the fear that INEC has as far as security is concerned. Are things that bad?
Well, the chairman expressed a concern relating to the security situation in the country within the context of the fact that things have started to pick up. Party primaries by all the registered political parties will soon begin. And you know that as of today, the Commission is conducting the continuous voters registration exercise. And this registration exercise started on the 28th day of June 2021. And within this particular period, we could not devolve the registration to the registration areas, or what we normally call wards. And as you know, we have a total of 8,809 registration areas. So we only started the voters registration exercise in our state offices and in the 774 local government offices of the Commission nationwide. And we did this in consultation with all the political parties, with civil society groups and organizations, with the media, and also with the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. And the advice was that we should confine the voters' registration to our state offices and the local government offices within that particular period on account of the security challenges we have in the country. Now, after the first and second quarter of the registration process, we met again with all these critical stakeholders, decided that the time had come for us to devolve to the registration areas on a rotational basis and also on a rollout and rollback position. So that if we roll out and we encounter security challenges, we roll back to our state and local government offices, and that's exactly what we've been doing. There are so many states where we have frontline local governments where the voters' registration is not even taking place, where we have rolled back to our local government offices and our state offices. And so as we move towards the 2023 general election, we have the challenge of internally displaced persons in several states of the Federation, and some of these people have to vote. Some of them ran out of their natural habitat. They left their PVCs behind, because when you are running for your life, the last thing you remember is your PVC. So we need to reprint the PVC of some of these people. We need to recreate their registration areas and their polling units within the IDP enclaves. And if they are within the state constituency or the federal constituency or the senatorial district or the district for governorship election, we can still get them to vote. So all these are concerns that the chairman has raised. But we have been in constant consultation and partnership with the various security agencies towards degrading some of these security challenges, and also seeing in what ways and by what means we can get all Nigerians to vote during the election.
I like to be practical, and I like to ask questions that matter. Yes. And my question here is, if insecurity as we have it today continues, can INEC conduct election?
Well, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria mandates us to organize, undertake, and supervise elections. Now, the task of securing the nation, the task of providing security for our staff and for our materials resides with the Nigerian Police Force, which is the major agency charged with the task of election security. Now, the Nigerian Police Force does not act alone. They act in consonance and also in consultation and in partnership with other security agencies to make sure that the nation is secured and secure enough for us to conduct election. We we are not sent to the commission to go and lament. We are sent to go and conduct elections, and we are going to prepare and prepare well. And as far as we are concerned, elections will take place.
Your job is to conduct election.
Yes.
Yours is not security. On different occasions, we've had elections postponed because of security reasons. Late General Azazi in London was where he announced that elections were going to be postponed for six weeks in this country because of security situation. Now, we have about 3,000 people that are reported to have been killed in Nigeria between January and March because of insecurity situation. Where, for example, in areas where you cannot guarantee security, and I know that for a fact what the law says about the powers of INEC taking the call on whether or not it can go ahead with the election or not. It's there. You are empowered to be able to determine whether election can go on. And you've said it, although albeit the fact that you have been very political about it, Mr. Okoye, is a situation. You've had meetings with security heads in this country. But the question is, if this persists, if this trend goes on, can we have an election?
The Independent National Electoral Commission has fixed presidential and National Assembly elections for 25th of February 2023. We still have time. We still have sufficient time for the various security agencies to get hold of the security situation in the country and degrade the current security challenges as much as possible. So we are confident that elections will take place in 2023. And you see, if you look at the...
If things change.
No. If you look at the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if you look at Section 178 and Section 132 of the Constitution, you will see that our elections are constitutionally circumscribed. The commission must conduct elections within that particular constitutional window. And the consequence of not conducting election within the window prescribed by the Constitution can be very, very grave. The implication is that Nigeria will get into a constitutional crisis or into a constitutional logjam that nobody can predict its outcome. So it is in the enlightened self-interest of everybody, every Nigerian.
I'm asking this question, Mr. Okoye, so that those who are in charge of security need to sit up and make sure that our elections are right, so that we don't fall into the constitutional trap that you are raised now, so that we know that we need to fix this insecurity situation. And that's why I'm asking, if the insecurity situation goes on, can you conduct an election if things don't change? That's the question. Let's be realistic.
No, we should be positive. We should be hopeful.
I'm positive.
We should be very confident.
I'm a very patriotic Nigerian.
Yes.
And each time I sit on this chair, I have a burden on my shoulder as a patriotic Nigerian. And I'm asking the question as a patriotic Nigerian tonight to say, look, if things don't change, can we have an election? It's a reality. If those who are in charge need to do something, what should they be doing right now? Let's be realistic with ourselves. We are all Nigerians. We have the interests of this country at heart, isn't it?
Well, at the level of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, made up of the chairman chairs that particular committee, the National Security Advisor is the co-chair of the committee, and all the heads of all the security agencies in the country are members of that particular committee, including the ICPC, including the AFCC, and including the National Orientation Agency and the NYSC. All of us meet on a quarterly basis, and also even at an emergency level when the situation demands. These situations are being reviewed. At our own level, we also assess the security situation in different parts of the state, using our local government offices, using our state offices, and so on. So we are hopeful and we are confident that the security agencies and the security heads know the enormity of the challenges, know the enormity of the situation.
Are you telling them?
Also,
did you speak to them?
No, all of us have been reviewing these things from time to time.
Look, don't think that I'm trying to be pushy on you tonight. I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm trying to be a journalist that I am.
Yes.
And the question is, a lot of Nigerians who are watching right there, those who have their family members kidnapped in Zamfara, Dasku in Zamfara, or those who have their members, families or friends or whatever killed in Benue State, are wondering how you can conduct elections in that regard, and whether or not you are telling those who matter in the affairs of the security situation the truth. That, because INEC has said it, in Rivers you said it. Which other state did you say? In Kogi? He said that if violence continue, you will not do election.
The trajectory and the situation is different in relation to a general election. Rivers is a state-based election. Kogi is a state-based election. We are not talking about a presidential election. We are not talking about a constitutionally circumscribed election. Now, I completely agree with you that so many Nigerians are in distress, especially those whose wards have been kidnapped, those whose family members have been killed, and so on. We must have empathy for this class of Nigerians, and nobody is glossing over it. But the truth of the matter is that as Nigerians, all of us, this thing must be a multi-stakeholder venture in terms of degrading the security situation in the country to make sure that we return to a safe environment, to a safe state where elections can be conducted. Look, for the 2023 election, this particular commission will deploy over 1,500,000 ad hoc staff. And these are sons and daughters of individuals. And nobody will agree to go and put the sons and daughters of individuals who are in the prime of their life in harm's way. So we are taking their situation very, very seriously, and we are impressing it on the security agencies on the need to secure the nation in such a manner that we can deploy and deploy effectively, and we can deploy so that no harm will come to any of our ad hoc staff.
Let's talk about the issue of the permanent voter cards. I'm not sure if enough education is being done to sensitize people about the need to get their PVC. PVC is a permanent voter card. You don't have a PVC, you cannot vote here in Nigeria. It's your passport to go to the polling unit and vote. You don't have it, you cannot vote. So it's important. How much of education are you giving to Nigerians in this respect? Osun is coming. Ekiti governorship election is also coming closer.
All the heads of voter education and publicity in the various states are out there in the field trying to educate the people on the need to register and also on the need for them to collect their permanent voters' cards. The resident electoral commissioners in all the states of the federation are up and doing. They're engaged in publicity, both on radio and television, and also engaging with the different stakeholders on the need for people to register and also on the need for people to collect their permanent voters' cards. Now, for those who registered during the first quarter and the second quarter of the registration exercise, we have printed their permanent voters' cards. So the permanent voters' cards will be delivered to the various states over this Easter period. So immediately after the Easter period, those who registered during the first and second quarter will collect their PVCs. We are not going to distribute the PVCs. If you registered, if you took the pens to register, you should also come and collect your PVC. There cannot be any collection by proxy.
Is there a way I can confirm whether my PVC is ready, and how can I do that?
You can confirm. You can log on to the INEC platform. The platform.
Can you give us the address?
I don't have the address offhand, but I think I have it in one of the documents here. The platform has 7 services. The first service is the pre-registration online service for those who want to pre-register. If you pre-register, you can now go and complete your fingerprint and facial biometrics in our state or local government office. If you are not interested in doing the online pre-registration, you can go to either the state office of the commission or the local government office of the commission or to the registration areas. Now, we have devolved to the 8,809 registration areas on a rotational basis, and we have deployed additional machines to all the states of the federation to make sure that eligible Nigerians are captured. We do not want a situation where there will be a surge at the last moment. This registration exercise, the last and fourth quarter, started on the 11th of April. It will end on the 30th day of June. We do not want a situation where people will rush just towards the end of the period. People should exercise the option of going to go and register now, because the option of extension, we are not too sure
that option.
That option exists.
So two things now. I'd like to, as my own effort in encouraging you, wherever you may be watching, if you are so concerned about the state of affairs on your country or the politics of your country, Nigeria, and you think that you can take part in it, You can do that by being a voting Nigerian if you are of the voting age. That way, you are exercising your power and your will to be part of those who elect or select those who will lead you. So it's very important. This information is very important. For those who want to find out, who may not know where the local government areas of INEC, because it's safe to go to local government areas. It might be a bit difficult to find the RAs, but you can easily find the local government areas. Yes. How can I locate a local government area of INEC? Is it possible? I can do that online?
It's also on that particular platform.
Do you have the address now?
The address is cvr.inec.gov.ng.
So say it again.
cvr.inec.gov.ng.
Okay.
Or cvr.inecnigeria.org.
Okay, I'll make sure that before the program is over, I'll put it on a template where I can put that information. Is cvr.org, cvr.inecnigeria.org or cvr.inec.gov.ng.
Exactly.
So if you go there, you enter your name, it pops up.
It pops up, and then it will show you the 7 services that we have. If there's also a PVC locator, you can locate where your PVC is domiciled, and you can go there and collect it.
Okay, so this is very important. I'll ensure that we give you before the end of the program, so we show you this address online, so you can quickly go there and check the status. You can also check where the address of the
local government offices of
the closest local government area is to you, and get started. Demystify this notion that if you are to register sometime, that your PVC or your status can be outdated or can be you can go out of status.
No, the Commission's PVCs do not expire.
Great.
Secondly, we now use the Bimodal voter accreditation system. The information of every registered voter is domiciled in the BVAS. It's not domiciled in the permanent voter's card. So when a voter gets to the polling unit on election day, what the voter does is to present his or her PVC to the presiding officer. And then the presiding officer may use the surname of the registered voter to call up the data from the BVAS. The presiding officer may also use the VIN number on the PVC to also call up the data of the registered voter, or even use the barcode to call up the data of the registered voter. So our PVCs do not expire, and people should just completely ignore the information trending to the effect that the PVCs do expire. Our PVCs do not expire, and our PVCs are valid. So anybody who has registered before does not need to go and register afresh. It is this type of misinformation or disinformation that leads to double or multiple registration, and the Commission does not want people to go the route of multiple and double registration. So our PVCs do not expire.
So like there are other cards that if you put beside your telephone, it might deactivate it. Is the PVC that vulnerable?
No.
So it's I mean, either in the sun or in the rain, your PVC is that it's not as easily scratched or easily because a lot of people ask the question whether or not they've been is the way they've exposed their PVC. That's why they get a problem when they get the accreditation process and all of that. What are the don'ts and the do's for the PVCs?
No, people should not misuse their PVCs. If you misuse your PVC, the implication is that the information on your PVC may no longer be legible. And if the information is no longer legible, it becomes a problem, in which case you have to go for a replacement PVC. Because for you to vote, the presiding officer needs to see your VIN number, which is on the PVC. The presiding officer needs to see your surname, which is on the PVC. The presiding officer also needs to see maybe your barcode, which is on the PVC. So, but if you misuse your PVC and it's no longer legible, it becomes a huge problem, in which case you have to apply for a replacement.
For Osun and Ekiti election, have you closed PVC registration or voter registration?
Yeah, you know, for Osun and Ekiti, they did the first and second quarter CVR. For those who registered during the first and second quarter, their PVCs are ready, and it's among the batch that will be dispatched to the various states
after the Easter break.
Yes, during this Easter break, and they can collect it after Easter. Now, because the two states have governorship election, we also devolved to the registration areas in the two states. For those who registered in Ekiti during the devolution of the PVC to the various registration areas or wards, their PVCs will be ready within a week. For those who registered in Osun, their PVCs will be ready in the next 2 weeks. And so we are ready. So there's no need to panic. For those who register in Ekiti, we are going to deliver their PVCs to them within the next 1 week. For those in Osun, within the next 2 weeks, they are going to get their PVCs.
As far as the preparations for Osun and Ekiti is concerned, everything is ready?
We are on top gear.
Materials?
The non-sensitive materials for Ekiti are already on ground. The trainings are ongoing. All the preparations are ongoing. The two resident electoral commissioners are up to the task, and they have been giving us almost weekly report on their readiness and their preparations. So for the two states, we are getting ready.
For the beavers, you've not had a fantastic outing just yet. The technology is not listening to you perfectly as it should. Is everything set now? Are you syncing and synchronizing things?
Well, we are going to get the technology to listen to us. For every new initiative, for every new technology you roll out, there are bound to be challenges. What we have done is that we've been doing test run of this particular technology before the 2023 general election. We did the test run in Isoko. It was very, very good. We went to Anambra. There were problems during the Anambra one. During the Anambra 2 in Ihiala, we didn't have challenges. We had challenges in the FCT area council elections, and then we had 6 by-elections in different states of the federation, and we didn't have challenges. We are confident that we are not going to experience any challenges with the beavers in Ekiti and in Osun State. So we are confident in terms of the work we have done on the beavers. So we expect optimal performance of the beavers in those two states.
So that's on one hand, and it's also on the, because one of the complaints about the observers have noticed is how the users of these devices are able to use them. And that's one big question. I can see now that we've got you that portal where you can go to and get registered, or you can confirm. Those two areas are cvr.inecnigeria.org or cvr.inec.gov.ng. Don't be left out. Get registered so that you can be able to vote. Look at it carefully. It's right there on your screen. It's not a fluke. We've confirmed it right there. cvr.inecnigeria.org, cvr.inec.gov.ng. Just 30 seconds before we go, I was asking about the users. One of the problems is that some of them are actually just trying to find their ways around the devices. That's what we found out in FCT and in some other of the by-elections.
For this for Ekiti and Osun governorship election, we are giving all the presiding officers and assistant presiding officers additional training. We have also trained additional registration area technical assistants, and we are also going to make sure that most of our officers, especially at the local government level, know how to use the beavers and also know how to troubleshoot the beavers. So we are getting ready. We have identified the challenges. We identified some of the weaknesses in our previous acting, and we have learned valuable lessons, and we are going to make sure that we get things right in Ekiti and in Osun.
I wish you the very best, Mr. Okoye. Know that you have an ally in us right here at Channels Television, because we are concerned about how things are done, and we want them to be done properly. And we work with you to give people voter education as much as they need to carry out their civic responsibility. Thank you so much.
We really appreciate that.
Thank you so much.